Hello and welcome. I am Christopher John Björknes. It is August 22nd, 2022. I think there is a vital public interest in awakening and awareness of what it is that Albert Einstein said about anti-Semitism. I'm going to be reading several quotations taken directly from Einstein. I will provide all the relevant citations and the manuscripts in which you can find these quotations. There will be several slides showing this. I'll show the cover of the books, etc., and give precise citations so that you can read the quotes in their full context. I will also be showing only those quotations in which I have pulled out the text from the books, show it in its original form so that you know that what I'm saying is true. It's so shocking and surprising, you wouldn't believe it otherwise. I have written many books about Einstein, his life, his politics, and how he was perceived early on before the Einstein mania took over. You can find my books at CJBBooks.com. Check it out. Read a couple of my books. You will be amazed by what you discover. Albert Einstein was inspired either directly or indirectly by the ideologies of Theodor Herzl and Max Nordau, among many other prominent fathers of modern political Zionism. He adopted their views and he expressed himself in their terms. Let's start off with his interview, How I Became a Zionist. This is Albert Einstein speaking. I want to make very clear that these are his views and not mine. Well, anti-Semitism in America takes on only social forms. In Germany, political anti-Semitism is much more noticeable than its social form. The way I see it, the fact of the Jews' racial peculiarity will necessarily influence their social relations with non-Jews. The conclusions, which, in my opinion, the Jews should draw, is to become more aware of their peculiarity in their social way of life and to recognize their own cultural contributions. First of all, they would have to show a certain noble reservedness and not be so eager to mix socially, of which others want little or nothing. On the other hand, anti-Semitism in Germany also has consequences that, from a Jewish point of view, should be welcomed. I believe German Jewry owes its continued existence to anti-Semitism. Religious forms which prevented Jews in the past from mixing with and integrating into their environment are now dwindling away under growing prosperity and better education. Thus, there remains only this contrast to their environment called anti-Semitism that leads to social separation. Without this contrast, the mixing of Jews in Germany would happen quickly and unhindered. I observed this in myself. Until 7 years ago, I lived in Switzerland, and as long as I lived there, I did not become aware of my Jewishness. There was nothing in my life that would have stirred my Jewish feeling or stimulated it. This changed as soon as I had taken residency in Berlin. Again, directly quoting Albert Einstein as translated in Albrecht Fersing's book, Albert Einstein, A Biography, with an English translation by Ewald Ozers. Quote, anti-Semitism, in the sense of a psychological phenomenon, will exist so long as Jews come into contact with non-Jews. And what does it matter? Perhaps we owe it to anti-Semitism that we have survived as a race. At least I believe so. When I read of German citizens of the Jewish faith, I cannot avoid a wry smile. What is concealed behind that pretty name? What is Jewish faith? Is there a kind of non-faith through which one ceases to be a Jew? No, but behind that name there are two confessions of beautiful souls, to wit, I don't wish to have anything to do with my poor Eastern Jewish brethren. I do not wish to be seen as a child of my people, but merely as a member of a religious community. Is that honest? Can an Aryan feel respect for such pussyfooting? I am neither a German citizen, nor is there in me anything that can be described as Jewish faith. But I am happy to belong to the Jewish people, even though I don't regard them as the chosen people. Why don't we just let the Goy keep his anti-Semitism, while we preserve our love for the likes of us? Albert Einstein also stated, quote, just what is a Jew? The formation of groups has an invigorating effect in all spheres of human striving, perhaps mostly due to the struggle between the convictions and aims represented by the different groups. The Jews, too, form such a group with a definite character of its own, and anti-Semitism is nothing but the antagonistic attitude produced in the non-Jews by the Jewish group. This is a normal social reaction. But for the political abuse resulting from it, it might never have been designated by a special name. What are the characteristics of the Jewish group? What, in the first place, is a Jew? There are no quick answers to this question. The most obvious answer would be the following. A Jew is a person professing the Jewish faith. The superficial character of this answer is easily recognized by means of a simple parallel. Let us ask the question, what is a snail? An answer similar in kind to the one given above might be, a snail is an animal inhabiting a snail shell. This answer is not altogether incorrect, nor, to be sure, is it exhaustive, for the snail shell happens to be but one of the material products of the snail. Similarly, the Jewish faith is but one of the characteristic products of the Jewish community. It is, furthermore, known that a snail can shed its shell without thereby ceasing to be a snail. The Jew who abandons his faith, in the formal sense of the word, is in a similar position. He remains a Jew, where oppression is a stimulus. Perhaps even more than on its own, the Jewish group has thrived on oppression and on the antagonism it has forever met in the world. Here undoubtedly lies one of the main reasons for its continued existence through so many thousands of years. Now I'm going to be reading from Theodor Herzl and Max Nordau. They were two of the most prominent early fathers of political Zionism. Chaim Weizmann joined the movement later. This is from Theodor Herzl. I observe the Jewish problem from many sides. What would you say, for example, if I did not deny there are good aspects of anti-Semitism? I say that anti-Semitism will educate the Jews. In 50 years, if we still have the same social order, it will have brought forth a fine and presentable generation of Jews, endowed with a delicate, extremely sensitive feeling for honor, and the like. Herzl gave an address at the First Zionist Congress in 1897. In that address, he stated, "The feeling of communion, of which we have been so bitterly accused, had commenced to weaken when anti-Semitism attacked us. Anti-Semitism has restored it. We have, so to speak, gone home." Herzl wrote down several relevant passages in his diaries. "In the beginning, we shall be supported by anti-Semites through a recrudescence of persecution, for I am convinced that they do not expect success and will want to exploit their conquest. The anti-Semites will become our most dependable friends, the anti-Semitic countries our allies. We want to emigrate as respected people. Gentlemen, the only conceivable form the voluntary liquidation of the Rothschild fortune could take is the one about which I have been talking to you for so long, the emigration of the Jews. I have already told you that we want to let respectable anti-Semites participate in our project, respecting their independence, which is valuable to us as a sort of people's control authority. Present-day anti-Semitism can only, in a very few places, be taken for the old religious intolerance. For the most part, it is a movement among civilized nations whereby they try to exorcise a ghost from out of their own past. On the morning, a message will fly out onto the whole world. Peace. Peace to the Jews, victory to the Gentiles. We must make peace because we can no longer fight, because later we should have to surrender under less favorable conditions. The anti-Semites will have carried the day. Let them have this satisfaction, for we too shall be happy. They will have turned out to be right, because they are right. They could not have let themselves be subjugated by us in the army, in government, in all of commerce, as thanks for generously having let us out of the ghetto. Let us never forget this magnanimous deed of the civilized nations. By liberating them from us, we shall also relieve them of the atavistic pressure of the Middle Ages, which they have been under in the Jewish question without recognizing it. They are not to blame for the sins of their fathers. Thus, anti-Semitism, too, probably contains the divine will to good, because it forces us to close ranks, unites us through pressure, and through our unity will make us free. My strange adherent, the Pressburg anti-Semite Ivan von Simonyi, came to see me. A sexagenarian, a mercurial, loquacious man with an astonishing amount of sympathy for the Jews. His conversation is a mixture of the sensible and the nonsensical. He believes in the ritual murder lie, but along with it has the brightest, most modern ideas. Loves me. Max Nordau wrote in his book, Zionism and Anti-Semitism, in 1903, "Anti-Semitism has also taught many educated Jews the way back to their people. It has had the effect of a sharp trial which the weak cannot stand, but from which the strong emerge stronger or more confident in themselves. It is not correct to say that Zionism is but a gesture of truculence or an act of desperation against anti-Semitism. It is true that more than one educated Jew has been moved only by anti-Semitism to throw in his lot again with Judaism, and he would again fall away if his Christian fellow countrymen would receive him anew in a friendly spirit. But in the case of most Zionists, anti-Semitism only forced them to reflect upon their relation to the nations. And their reflection has led them to conclusions which would remain a lasting acquirement of their mind and heart, even if anti-Semitism were to disappear completely from the world. I hope you have enjoyed hearing these quotations from Albert Einstein, Theodore Herzl, and Max Nordau. If you appreciate this content, please consider donating. There will be a PayPal link in the description below. I'll be very grateful to you for any contributions you could make. Again, the important thing is to check out my website, cjbbooks.com. I have several books on Einstein and issues related to Zionism. You will be shocked by what you discover, but it is all equally well cited and referenced. And thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.